One day I was coming back at night from my friend Ola's house. Even though she insisted that I stay over instead of going back alone so late, I refused. I was determined to leave because my dad would never agree to me staying outside the house. Ola's house was up on a hill and it was around 9:30 p.m. I planned to take the bus from the station near her house, and that way, in about an hour, I would be home. When I reached the bus stop, there was a young man sitting there. Something about him felt strange to me. His face was sharp, his hair was long and messy, almost like a homeless person. Even his clothes confirmed that impression. He was wearing a torn gray t-shirt and old pants. And of course, since I'm a girl and I was alone, it was only natural for me to feel afraid of him. Anyway, I stood at a distance, far away from him. My phone rang. It was Ola calling to check on me to see if I had gotten on the bus or not. I stayed on the call longer than usual, just to escape the feeling of fear I had from that man, but I had this strong feeling that he was watching me, following me with his eyes. Every 10 seconds, he would take his phone out of his pocket, pretend to check something, then look at me again. After I finished the call with Ola, I checked the time. It was 9:45 p.m., and my battery was only 10%. I felt stupid for not charging my phone at Ola's house before leaving. I looked ahead at the long, empty road. There was no sign of any bus coming from a distance. I started to feel uncomfortable being alone, so close to that man. Suddenly, he stood up and started walking toward me. I pretended not to notice him, acting like I was busy on my phone. Then he stood right next to me, and in a rough, hoarse voice, he asked, "Do you have a lighter?" I replied without even looking at him, "I don't smoke." My tone clearly showed my anger and disgust, and that I didn't want him near me. But he stayed there, right next to me, without saying anything, just watching me and looking at what I was doing on my phone. I got really annoyed by his behavior, so I asked him, "What is it?" "I told you I don't smoke. I don't have a lighter." He laughed, a disturbing, unsettling laugh that scared me. Then he started stepping back slowly, still staring at me, and he said something that was really irritating. "You girls are always like this, pretending you hate attention, even though it's exactly what you want, and you crave it." I got furious. I raised my voice and shouted at him, "If you don't stay away from me, I will call the police. My friend's house is nearby. Her father has a gun, and she knows I'm standing here waiting for the bus. If I scream right now, you're going to be in serious trouble." He clearly didn't expect that reaction from me. His face showed shock, and he got nervous. At that exact moment, a private car appeared and stopped in front of the bus station. The one driving it was an elderly woman. She probably sensed that I was in trouble, so she offered to give me a ride instead of me standing alone in this deserted area. I thanked God, because it felt like he sent her at the perfect time. Of course, I agreed and got in with her. As we started moving, I saw that strange man walking behind us, and the moment the car moved, I saw him in the front mirror, smiling at me. That same disturbing smile. I couldn't believe what had just happened, but I tried to calm myself down and told myself, "It's over. It's just a situation that passed." I looked at the elderly woman and thanked her from the bottom of my heart. She smiled at me and asked, "Was that homeless man bothering you?" I told her I didn't know him. He was the one who approached me when he saw me alone, and he behaved in a creepy and intrusive way. She replied, "You have to be careful. Girls need to be very cautious these days, especially when it's late." She advised me not to stay out late again. I smiled and thanked her once more, because she really saved me. We were on the highway. There weren't many cars around, but even then, and the woman was driving very slowly. I thought maybe she was just being extra careful, especially since she was old, and maybe her eyesight wasn't that strong. The way she pressed the brakes and the gas, it felt like she wasn't used to driving. But still, being with her was definitely better than being with that creepy man, so I didn't complain about the slow driving. I stayed quiet and told myself to just be patient until the night passes safely. After a while, the woman told me that she had been on her way to visit her niece, who lived at the bottom of the hill. She apologized and said she would just stop in front of the house to inform her niece that she would be late, since she was going to drop me off first and then return to them. I told her that was completely fine. Her kindness and the gentle way she was treating me were more than enough. After about 20 minutes, she stopped in front of a gas station. There were no other cars there except us, which I thought was a good thing. It meant we would finish quickly. She got out of the car and told me to stay where I was until she filled the tank, and that she wouldn't be long. I took out my phone to call my family, at least to tell them why I was late so they wouldn't worry, but unfortunately, my phone had died. The woman had left her phone on the dashboard in front of me. I thought about using her phone to make the call. I didn't think she would mind, and once she got back into the car, I would tell her that I had used it. I picked up the phone and unlocked the screen. There was no password, which felt like good luck at the time, but the moment I opened it, I can't even describe the amount of fear I felt. The home screen, it was a photo of the old woman standing next to the same homeless-looking man who had been bothering me at the bus stop. My mind froze. My thoughts completely stopped. I couldn't process the full truth at that moment, but I understood one thing very clearly. They knew each other very well, and this was a trap, a dangerous trap that could end my life. I got out of the car immediately and took her phone with me. I ran as fast as I could, because that was my only way to survive. I didn't look back, but tears took over me. I was crying from fear while running, not knowing what was going to happen to me. While running, I called my father's number. Luckily, he was in his car. He had finished work and was already on his way home. I couldn't explain everything in detail, but somehow I made him understand that I was in serious danger and that he needed to come get me. He told me not to be afraid and to stop and wait for him on the highway. He said he would come and pick me up, but I was too scared to stop because that woman would definitely get back in her car and start looking for me. So I kept running until I saw my father coming from the opposite direction. The moment I reached home, I hugged my mom and started crying. Then I told both of them everything that had happened in detail, from the moment I stood at the bus stop until the moment the old woman left me at the gas station and I took her phone. My father called the police and filed a report. The next morning, officers came to our house and asked me several questions as part of the investigation. I answered everything I knew. I was hoping they would catch this gang before they could lure another innocent person. Of course, I handed them her phone, which I had with me. Through it, they were able to gather a lot of information about her, and within a few weeks, they arrested her. That woman had a criminal record, and she was the mother of that so-called homeless man. The two of them were professional kidnappers. They always targeted girls on the highway, but what made their trap so dangerous was the devilish method they used with their victims, especially young girls who were alone. The young man would harass the girl and scare her, exactly the way he did with me. And when he felt that the girl's nerves were about to break, he would send a message to his mother telling her that the plan had worked. That's when the mother would step in, like a savior, offering help to the frightened girl by giving her a ride. And of course, because she was an older woman with a kind appearance, no one would suspect her. The girl would get into the car with her. After some time, the woman would ask for permission to stop at her niece's house for a few seconds. And that was the moment her son would attack, get into the car, and tie up the victim. After that, they would call the girl's family and demand a ransom in exchange for her safe return. And after the family transferred the money, by any payment method, they would kill the victim. And that way, no one could ever find them. No one could know the details of the kidnapping. For an entire year, they had been carrying out the same criminal plan. They had killed 4 girls, and I would have been their 5th victim if God hadn't protected me. If that woman hadn't stopped at the gas station, my fate would have been the same as the girls before me. And even now, I still ask myself what could have happened if I hadn't picked up that woman's phone to call my dad. 3 months have passed since that incident. My father bought me my own car, so I wouldn't have to use public transportation at night, and so no one could bother me. And if one day I stay late at a friend's house, I just spend the night there and leave in the morning instead of going back alone at night. But I still can't forget what that woman said to me. Girls need to be very careful these days, especially when it's late. Otherwise, they will fall into the trap.